Hey guys, welcome back to This Week in BJJ. I'm Budo Jake, and I'm very happy to have Henry Akins here today. He teaches Jiu-Jitsu at Dynamics MMA, and he spent more time on the mat with Hickson than anybody else. So Henry, what do you want to show today?
We're going to show a situation from the mount, and it's basically how to set up what we call the gift wrap position. The gift wrap position kind of opens the doors to a lot of different situations, but it's also a great situation to do whether you're just doing BJJ, Jiu-Jitsu, or if you're in a physical confrontation where you're in a fight. So if you lay down on your back, I'm going to start from the mount. So this gift wrap situation is a position that I always like to take my opponent to, because basically it gives you so much control of your opponent, and it basically puts you in a situation where you are not exposed to taking any damage, and then you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do to your opponent. So normally, if your elbows are down, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get you to do something to bring your hands up. Okay. So normally what I'll do is I'll just bother the neck, and what you can see is your hand is already coming up because this is a little bit uncomfortable. It's something that you can't really ignore, right? Your elbows come up to kind of protect your neck. So what I'm going to do now is I just put my hand behind your elbow. Now the goal here is not to really push your arm, because if you're stronger than me, if I try to push your arm, yeah, it's going to be a fight. So once I lock your arm here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hip behind my elbow. So try to put your elbow down. So you see it's kind of locked into my hip. Now what I'm going to do is, so because I don't want to move you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move myself. Okay? So I just keep my hand here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my chest behind your arm. So now once my body's behind your arm, I'm going to use my whole body against your arm. And what you can see is just by leaning my weight on the back of your arm, it's very difficult for you to bring your arm back, right?
Yeah, smashed.
So from here, I'm just going to come underneath your head, grab your wrist. Once I grab your wrist, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my leg up, okay, and turn you on your side by pushing your elbow. So from here, I have a very, very good control of you. Even if just holding two fingers, try to pull your arm out, it's very difficult for you to pull your arm out. So, of course, if we're in a fight, this is a great position that I can sit here and talk to you, right, if we need to figure things out. And I'm not going to be exposed to taking any strikes, so if you try to hit me with this hand, there's not really much possibility. If my intention is to use strikes against you, you actually saw Hickson using this position against Funaki, right? So I can do a lot of damage to you from this position with maybe elbows here to the ribs, if I need, if you try to cover up your ribs, your strikes to the face. So really, even if you protect your face, these elbows are going to go through. You can already feel just tapping, it's going to do a lot of damage. So in a fight, I can use this position to control, right? And it's such a dominant position. Usually, just from talking to the person, they'll want to, okay, you know, they won't want to continue or escalate the aggression. But also from this position, you have a lot of options to finish. So just from here, I can already start to set up the bow and arrow, right? By passing the collar and finishing here. Or from this situation, we can set up the arm bar, which I can put my hand in front of your face, step over, take the arm. Or if I want to take your back, it's very easy to take the back, right? Putting my foot aside, sitting, taking the back. So from this position, gives me a lot of control, and really the only kind of option for you to move is to turn belly down, which is to give me your back, which most people that do jiu-jitsu will not want to do. Yeah,
right? This is like the worst position to be in with your arm wrapped around.
It's such a dominant position for the person on the bottom, and you feel that you don't really have much options when you're on the bottom. So you want to see how to do that again? Yep. So from here, I just do something to bother the neck, right? So with the gi, I can put the hand in the collar. I can start to threaten the neck with my hand inside the collar. Or no gi, I just put my forearm in your neck. Or if there's striking involved, of course, your hands are going to be up already, right? So I just put my hand here, and what I do is I lock my hip behind my elbow, so that you can't. So what happens is my whole body is behind it. It's like a wall, right? So it has nothing to do with strength.
I don't feel you pushing against me.
Yeah, I'm not pushing. The intention is not to push you or try to move you physically, because we always have to assume I'm fighting someone bigger and stronger. So what if you're 300 pounds, right? There's no way I'm going to be able to push your arm across. So what I do is I just put my elbow in my hip, make sure that you can't move your arm. So what you see is just my skeletal structure, right? And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna move my body behind. Once I put my chest here, now I just lean my weight. So just with my weight, there's no, because it's your rear delt, right, which is a very, very small muscle, very difficult for your rear delt to move my whole body off of you. So once we get to this position, I reach around, grab your wrist. Now when I turn you on the side, I always want to put my leg up, because if I turn you sideways here, yeah, you're going to catch my leg and you can escape. So what happens is before I turn you on your side, I always put my leg up, foot close to the hip, and then I just use my hand to push your elbow to turn you sideways, right? And so from here, then depends on what I want to do after, if I want to go for a choke, or if I want to go for the arm, or if I want to take your back, or if it's a situation where there's striking involved, I can use any of those situations.
Awesome. So Henry, let me put you on the spot. If you're ever in that situation, what's the best defense?
Depending on how the person's holding you, there's a couple different options. If the arm is not that tight, sometimes you can sneak your head out. The other thing that you can do is you can try to roll very quickly underneath, so that you can turn back and face your opponent, because there's no turning back, right? But you basically want to roll and try to avoid both hooks coming in.
Gotcha. Henry, thanks so much for coming in today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time on This Week in BJJ.
That concludes this installment of This Week in BJJ. Watch and review past episodes on iTunes and YouTube, and then be sure to join us again right here for another live edition of This Week in BJJ. Brought to you by BudoVideos.com.